opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Shaw Cable Systems or of the station. Through our access policy, we provide the opportunity for community groups and individuals to express their points of view.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Huddle. I'm Scott Taylor. This is Rebecca Horan.
Hello.
And we're back for another episode. We don't have John Mackey or Rick Hankovich with us today. They're off to Football Canada meetings. No, that's not sad. It's nice to have you on.
It is nice to be on. You know, it's nice to be on the other side of the camera every once in a while. So yeah, I like being on the side of the desk.
You're on the other side for some of this show today because we have a very interesting show today. It's kind of a one-man show.
It is. It really, really is. Coach Dan Washnuk of the Miles Mac Buckeyes and the Football Manitoba U18 program.
It's great to see Dan. We're very, very happy that the board of directors of Football Manitoba reached out to John Mackey and asked to have Dan Washnuk on the show, and we are thrilled to death to have him here today. We're going to have a couple of segments. We're going to talk about the under-18 program, of which he's the head coach. We're going to talk about his time with the Miles Mac Buckeyes. We're going to play some 10 questions.
And a brand new segment. I'm so excited for
Brand new segment called Take a Knee. We're going to have some of our favorite coaches come on and give a little speech that they would give to their team, maybe at halftime or before a game, and we'll have an opportunity to see how the coaches coach.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a little bit of televised huddle motivation for all of the athletes out there.
Yeah, that's great. Rebecca, good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Nice to see you on this side. Rebecca Horan, my co-host this week. We come back. It's Dan Washnuk Day. This is the Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba, community created on Shaw TV. Come on back. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Huddle. As promised, we have a very, 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 very special guest today. And I'd like to thank the Board of Directors of Football Manitoba for reaching out to John Mackey and having him invite Dan Washnuk onto the show. Dan is the brand new head coach of Manitoba's under-18 team, our provincial team. And we're going to come back in another segment and talk about your history because it's pretty big. Your dad, Richard, of course, was a great football player in his day, and you're kind of from football royalty in Manitoba. I mean, I know that you're modest about that. But
he was with the U of M, and he had his tryout with the Bombers.
Sure he did. Yeah, he was a fine player in his day.
Did more than I ever did.
You're so modest. But you also coach the Miles Mac Buckeyes.
Yes.
You're involved with the Rifles.
Yep. And
now you're the under-18 coach. I want to start with under-18. This is going to be an interesting year because, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. The price has gone up to play under-18 football, to play on the provincial team. It's a big decision for a lot of kids, and you've kind of got to do a selling job to get some kids that I think you'd like to have at camp involved with this club.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the more players we can have out, the better with this program. I know that talking to a couple players around Miles Mac, they got the brochure that came out the other day. They saw the price was up, particularly with the first phase, and I know that one of them said to me, well, you know, Coach, am I paying just $400 to get cut? And I can understand that approach. I mean, when that price tag is up, you're going to be thinking, hey, this is a lot to spend if you're not feeling confident about that team. But what I told that young man, and what I'm telling everybody, is that this is not just an opportunity to be trying out provincial team. I mean, that's the end goal. I mean, number one thing we want to do is we want to head out to Saskatoon. We want to come back with that gold medal. That's what we're going after here. But for the players involved in the program, there's such a large developmental phase to it that it's not just beneficial for us at the U18 program, but for those players, for the programs they come from, for everything that they're doing. We have worked with Blair Atkinson at Recruit Ready. They're going to be taking care of our football training and getting some off-season work done for us at the University of Manitoba in the early mornings throughout the next couple months. We've also got Elite with Jeff Fisher taking care of the strength and conditioning aspect. And those two very separate entities have kind of working together under the umbrella of U18 to give these players some off-season development that maybe they're not getting. And when myself and my coaching staff kind of takes over in April, we're going to see these players that are going to be that much further than they were. And even if we don't invite them back to Glue and Gold or past that, those players are going back to their own programs stronger, faster, smarter, better. So even though there's that little bit of a higher price tag associated with phase one, it's going to be great for the kids. They're going to develop, they're going to be better, it's going to be great for their program.
Explain the phases, the way this thing's going to work for you.
Well, the way this works is that we have phase one is going to be our strength conditioning program that's going to be kind of kicking off January 25th. So we need those registrations to come in as soon as possible to make sure everyone's involved that we can get. After that, there'll be some early morning training practices going along with the strength conditioning to be done kind of on the player's own time, checking in with me, making sure that I'm seeing them physically developing. And then as we progress through those kind of 1-a-week practices, we'll get into April, where we'll have some evaluative practices. We'll have a pass emphasis camp, we'll have a rushing emphasis camp, we'll have a couple team practices where we'll take a look at the players in a competitive setting, and we'll make our selections down to blue and gold from there. Then we'll get into our blue and gold phase, the blue and gold classic that's been going on in Manitoba for years. I played in it. I remember loving it as a kid. I think it's something that everybody should be aspiring to get to. From the blue and gold, we'll be looking at our final selection, ultimately training camp. And then that'll take us to Saskatoon.
When you talk about the cost going up, the blue and gold is a prize for a lot of kids too.
Absolutely.
I mean, although every kid that plays in the blue and gold doesn't go with the provincial team to Saskatoon, that is a pretty big football game.
Absolutely. I know that that's one thing that when I'm hearing about new players, a lot of coaches, I talk to them. I phoned a lot of coaches over the last month or so to ask about some of the players, the ones I need to be getting after over the next little while. And whenever they say, well, they were in blue and gold last year, that's an immediate kind of tick for me. That's something saying, like, this is somebody who maybe wasn't with us at final training camp, but was at that level of development where they still made blue and gold. That says a lot to us, particularly for the grade 10 players. I mean, we're looking at players who are in grade 10 and 11, heading into 11 and 12, and those are the ones we need, those are the ones we want, because they're our under 18 umbrella. When we have those grade 10s come into blue and gold already, those are special athletes. Those are the ones that we need to be developing for next year.
This is quite a responsibility for you, because I know you've got your own football team at Miles Mac, and you work at the Rifles camps, and you started basically your major football coaching with the Rifles organization. So you're taking on a heck of a responsibility over the next 5-6 months. You got time to do this?
If you ask my girlfriend, she would probably say no. But
they always do.
She knows she gets a football gift and a football trip out of it when it's all said and done in the summer. It's the beauty of being a teacher. I have a little bit of time to spend on that. But yeah, I like to make the time for football. It's nice because I'm at a point in my life where I have that free time for those other responsibilities, where I can make sure that I'm, one, taking care of Miles Mac, because that's the #1 priority for me. I mean, they're the ones who pay me to teach English and coach football. And then getting into provincials, Rifles, it's so nice to keep my connections with them. And Coach Carhut called me the other day to ask if I'd be willing to help out with some guest coaching during their rookie camp. And I'm looking forward to seeing not just how that program's continuing to get better every year, but how the players that I've coached at provincials, Miles, wherever it might be, how they've developed as well.
You want to make a pitch to get some players to come out. This is your opportunity right now. Make the pitch to get their registrations in by, what, January 25th is the date?
January 25th is our showcase. The sooner the better. What we need to see are our athletes in Manitoba. We need to get our horses out under our coaches so that we can get them coached up, get the talent into our systems, because we have a very, very talented coaching staff. We're looking at Jamie Peters of Steinbach Sabres is going to be our offensive coordinator. Mark Graceffa with the Winnipeg Rifles is our defensive coordinator. We're looking at Rory Anderson at receivers, Stephen Fettis at running backs, Chris Boshin at O-line, and Owen Ferguson at defensive backs, with myself at linebackers. This is a fantastic coaching staff. Come out and get developed, because it will make you better, it will make your programs better, and ultimately it will make Manitoba better.
We got more to talk about. It's the head coach of the provincial under-18 team, Team Manitoba. It's Dan Washnick. We're going to come back and talk more with Dan right after this. This is The Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba, community created on Shaw TV. Welcome back to The Huddle. Our guest remains Dan Washnick, the head coach of Team Manitoba, the under-18 provincial team. He's also the head coach at Miles Mac. He also works with the Rifles. He's had a tremendous career. You were being humble before when we were off camera, saying that your career wasn't as equal to your dad's. But tell us a little bit about your background. Let's go all the way back. Let's talk about your dad, Richard, and his time in football, and then how you got involved.
Well, I think you might know more about what he played than I do. I know that I know my dad spent some time at U of M. He wore number 52, which is what I stole off of him when I started playing. That was my number. I've kind of appropriated it from him, and we'll see if he lets me keep it over the years. But you know, he played at a higher level than I did, and he got his trial with the Bombers, which is something that I never even really aspired to by the time my playing career was coming to an end. I got into football because I was just atrocious at hockey and baseball. You know, people ask me, well, you're an athlete. Well, no, I was a football player. Couldn't play another sport to save my life, but football I got. So I got into Eagles when I was a little bit younger and spent a few years there before moving into a couple years with the River East Kodiaks. I spent my grade 11 and 12.
Tell people what your position was.
Oh, a linebacker. I was a linebacker in every football game I played.
From everyone, right from the start.
Right from the start as linebacker. Yeah, never really branched out. No, nice and closed mind.
The first coach said, "You're a linebacker. Go play linebacker."
That's where it was. I don't know what to tell you. And Al Leskowicz was my coach at East Side, and I will never forget. You know, tackle low, say hello. Tackle high, wave goodbye. It doesn't matter what level you're at, you still see that. So you just take them low. I got that from Al, and then worked into River East under Daryl Diddick, was my head coach there, and kind of developed from a linebacker. There was some stint at fullback that was just awful. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with the football.
You do whatever you need to for the team.
Yes, exactly.
And then from there, I was able to kind of levy some of that into U18 playing time.
Right.
I was able to get there under Scott Norris for a couple years.
It's nice though, isn't it, to have played on this team
Absolutely.
And to know this team, to come back and coach this team.
Well, and I love one element of it is that I often tell this to a lot of players who get to know me, is that back before we coddled players, U19 was U19 was the only program. So when I was 15 and 16, I was trying out for U19. And actually, I remember the first time I met Mark Graceffo, who's my defensive coordinator this year. He was the linebacker at the program. And I remember being terrified of this mammoth of a man that I was practicing with. And I love mentioning to the kids that when I was 15 and 16, I was cut. It's the only team I've ever been cut from where I was asked to be an alternate for the program. And how important it was to me as a player, the pride I took with even being that alternate, to come back after that year. And then my year at 17 and 18, I was the starting middle linebacker. I had a great time at the tournaments. We didn't do very well. And then, in fact, after the year I left is when Manitoba brought home the gold.
That's right.
So I blame me.
Paul Childs with that winning touchdown.
Yeah, I moved that into 5 years with the Rifles. Right. Most of them under Mike Watson, and that's where I learned how to coach.
And that was kind of the golden time of the Rifles. You had
absolutely.
Good teams
2005, that was our year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tremendous season.
Didn't work out, but that was the best year we had.
But it was a tremendous year.
Absolutely. Nate Friesen had an unbelievable year that year. We had such fantastic players on defense. Like, it was a great football team. And it was a pleasure to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah. Nice to play for a winner at that level.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've finished with the Rifles, 5 years with the Rifles.
Immediately to coaching. Yeah.
With the club.
Not even with the Rifles. I mean, there was a lot of guest coaching in there. I came back and helped out a little bit. Even during my time with the Rifles, I was into helping U18. Right. Went back to River East for a little bit. That's where I started to get a taste for coaching. After graduating that, finishing my education degree, I got a job at a junior high and started assistant coaching at Miles Mac. And that is what ended up kind of getting me into that building, and so that's where most of my coaching has occurred, has been with the Buckeyes. So you were at the U of M or UW when you were playing with the Rifles? U of M, and so you got your teaching certificate, and you ended up going to Miles Mac, where you teach English, correct? Yes, 10, 11, 12 English. 2 months of Shakespeare a year.
Great, wonderful. I can't think of anything that would be better. That's tremendous. But you also get the football team.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience.
It's been absolutely great. I mean, we've developed so far as a program from when I took over. I mean, we had a lot of success even before I got there. With Corey Kaplik was the former head coach, and he had a championship appearance and he had a championship that they earned under his belt. They had a fantastic program, and I was lucky enough to come in and take over there. And we continued to build. My first year, we finished with a 4-3 record, but missed playoffs because as a league, we hadn't quite rejigged that Vidrick division. Right. Second year, we went to the finals with Grant Park and lost. The year after that, we went to the Potter finals against St. Paul's and lost, although that was a fantastic football game. I've said for both of those finals, I wish I had been watching them instead of coaching.
Well, yeah, the Miles Mac St. Paul's final was tremendous. It's nice to be able to coach a kid like Jaden McCoy.
Yeah. Oh, he's absolutely amazing.
It is a great story,
not even as a player. I actually, coaching Jaden as a player doesn't matter. He's such a phenomenal young man, and that whole program, that whole year, that whole set of graduate players were so great. We have Josh Toledo Castillo, who's a U18 player, went out to VI. We have Houston Renews with the U of M as well. We have players like Quinton Litke and Josh Glenn, were two of my linebackers for years, that aren't really doing much with football now, but these are just all these young men that were such a large part of that program that made it such a memorable year.
So there is a lot more to football than just playing football.
Maybe. I haven't found that yet.
Coach Dan Washnick, the head coach of Team Manitoba, the under-18s, and the head coach at the Miles Mac Buckeyes, where he teaches English to 10s, 11s, and 12s, and has the greatest job in the world because he gets Shakespeare all the time.
And if anyone else wants to join us at the Miles Mac Buckeyes, we are currently looking for some coaches to expand our staff at any position. The more we can have, the better off we are.
Outstanding. So if you're a coach and you're looking for work, call this guy. You're going to come back and play 10 questions with me.
Okay, I can do that.
We're going to play 10 questions. We haven't done it with coaches very often. I bet Shakespeare's the answer to one of the questions. We'll do that right after this. We're with Dan Washnick, and thanks so much to the Board of Football Manitoba for making sure that Dan got on this program. We appreciate it very, very much. We'll be back. We're going to play 10 questions right after this. This is The Huddle, community created right here on Shaw TV. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Huddle. Scott Taylor with two of my newest best friends from the North Winnipeg Nomads via Carman, Manitoba. To my far right, Blake Bernert.
Yep.
I said that right?
Yep.
It's not Bernard or Bernert or
Bernier.
Bernier.
We get that a lot.
Do you get that a lot?
Oh, yeah. I do.
And in the middle, Taylor Morgan. We had the Now Yucks boys on, and Scott Now Yucks, who played for the Rifles, said that they never pronounced his name right properly once in high school.
No jokes or something like that. Yeah, because there's like Brendan, right?
Yeah,
Brendan or whatever.
Brendan plays, and Riley and Scott. Anyway, Blake Bernard, Taylor Morgan, drove in the entire season to play for the North Winnipeg Nomads from Carman. Question 1, why did you do it? Question 2, why did you choose North Winnipeg when you could have gone to someplace closer?
Well, North Winnipeg, obviously there's Julian Whitnick.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal quarterback.
He's from Selkirk.
He is from Selkirk,
right.
yeah.
And but Selkirk's closer to the North Winnipeg than
Carman. Yeah, it's a lot closer. No, him and I kind of had some really good chemistry at the U18 program there. He actually threw me a touchdown in the blue and gold game there.
That's right.
So I figured, hey, man, if he can throw me a touchdown in the blue and gold game, I'm going to kill it this season if he's my quarterback, right? And, yeah.
So why you made the decision?
Honestly, that's the main decision. It was either the Mustangs or the Nomads, and so glad I took the Nomads.
You wanted to play with the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it the right decision to make? I mean, you guys drove in, what, 3 times a week, 2 times a week to practice?
Sometimes
play?
5.
Sometimes 5, yeah.
Yeah.
This wasn't cheap, was it?
Not even a little bit. No, it was really expensive.
What did it cost you a month?
$400.
And 3 of you together?
3 of us together, yeah. Well, we picked up our buddy Tyler.
Right.
He lived in Sanford, now moving to Carman, and yeah, I know we're bringing all the talent to Carman and shifting over to Winnipeg, and yeah, it was $400 a month.
And in your Cavalier, your 2000
Cavalier, yeah.
Did you buy the car just for this occasion?
Well, no. I'm not going to say why we had to buy a new car, but somebody, number 52, happened to crash my car, so we had to buy a new one.
And so you bought a 2000 Cavalier.
2000 Cavalier.
And it made it through the entire summer.
Absolutely, yeah. Still running. Barely, but still running.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make it through the winter, do you?
Not even.
In Manitoba.
Nope.
Did you have fun this year?
I had lots of fun.
You ran a lot of yardage.
Yeah, I did.
You had some 250-yard games.
Yep.
So Julian was good to you, too?
Yeah, he's a good guy to have as a quarterback.
What was it like to play in the championship game at Investors Group Field?
It was phenomenal. I was just, preseason, Nathan and I, we went to the preseason game, the Bomber game, and just phenomenal. The way the architecture is and the way the sound is just phenomenal. And yeah, it was just
so you said at that point we're going to be in this building for the championship.
Yeah, from that point on we're playing Nomads and we're going to go to the championship. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but
you still got to play there.
Absolutely.
And it was still fun.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next year for you?
Nomads again.
You're going to play Nomads again next year?
No, and I don't know if I'm going to play CIS, NCAA, or juniors, really.
Now, you're finished high school?
Finished high school, grade 12, yeah.
So you've had some interest from U.S. schools?
Yeah, a couple of Division III, just spread around the country. But other than that, nothing.
But you're going to play football next year?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, you'll be back at the Nomads.
Yep, sure.
Blake Bernard, Taylor Morgan, two of the stars of the offense of the Winnipeg Nomads Midgets.
Yeah.
And next year, You'll be a midget, and you might be a Division III star in the United States.
Yeah.
We'll keep in touch with Alma College or Aurora.
Yeah, you bet.
Whatever, Midland, you might be there. Blake, Taylor, we'll be back. We got lots more coming up with the North Winnipeg Nomads right after this. This is The Huddle, community created on Shaw TV. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Huddle. Back with more Nomads Midgets. I get the defensive side of the ball. The smart guys come in now. The offensive guys are gone. Talk about defense. That was a tough one in that championship game. I have, to my far right, Tyler Thorvaldson. To my immediate right, the brother of Taylor Morgan, Nathan. And welcome to the show. Let's talk about the championship game very briefly. We don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it. But St. Vital played pretty well.
Yeah, they played better than we did, and we just didn't execute what we needed to do, and they just...
Some you win, some you lose.
Exactly.
All in all, a good season?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You enjoyed yourselves?
Yeah, it was fun.
Now, we talked about the Cavalier and you guys driving in from Carmen for all these games. Was it worth it?
It was definitely worth it.
Fun to play for Max Hyde, isn't it?
Yeah.
A good fun coach.
He's pretty sweet.
So tell me about your background. When did you start playing?
I started in 2011 playing bantam.
So you haven't played very much.
No, this is my 4th year.
And you're starting with a team that went to the championship game. That's pretty good. What are your plans? What do you want to do when you're done? Midgets.
When I'm done midget, I want to hopefully get into a university or maybe just play a few years of junior.
Now, what year of high school are you in?
I'm in grade 10.
So you got lots of time left to play.
Or grade 11.
Yeah, that's all right. It's only your teachers will remember. So you still got you finish your grade 11 season. You're going into grade 12 in college.
Yeah.
And then you've got an opportunity to play at some level.
Yeah,
right?
in some level.
You remember that?
Yeah.
When you leave?
Mm-hmm.
That you're leaving grade 11 and going to grade 12?
Yeah.
How about you, Tyler?
I'm same age as Nathan. I'm in grade 11 and started playing football, I think, when I was 9, and then, or 8 till I was 11, then I took a couple years off. I came back in bantam, played bantam with the Nomads, and then this last season I played with Max, and we won championships.
Yeah, and you've always played 12-man tackle football.
Yeah.
Right. You played 9-man.
Yeah, 9-man bantam.
What's the change? What's the step up? Is it really different?
It's quite a bit different, yeah. Just knowing how many people are on the field, and it's a big change.
It's a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tougher. What do you want to do with football? How far do you want to go?
I'm thinking after midget, either play majors or try out for a juniors team.
So you're going to keep playing. You're not going to give up football.
No.
And you're going to keep playing.
Oh, yeah.
You guys will never quit. You'll be driving that Cavalier in for years.
Yep.
Put it up for the winter and get her back for the summer when practice starts.
Exactly.
It's good meeting you guys. Good
Nice
seeing
to
you.
meet you too.
Tyler Thorvaldson and Nathan Morgan, the defensive Morgan of the Morgans from Carmen and from Winnipeg, right?
Nope. Sanford moving to
Sanford,
Carmen.
that's right. You're moving to Carmen.
Yeah.
So there'll be a load of guys from Carmen driving in. It'll be great. The North Winnipeg Nomads, the second best team in the Manitoba Midget League this year. Hey, fix that next year.
Yeah.
This is The Huddle. We are football in Manitoba. Thanks, guys. It's community created on Shaw TV. Welcome back to The Huddle. The biggest problem we have on this show is that we don't have enough Miles Mack players on it. We should change that this year. We should have a whole Miles Mack show, I think.
I'd be down with that.
That'd be good. We'll do that later in the year. So because we don't have so many Miles Mack players, we have decided that we are going to play 10 questions with the coach. You are the second coach ever to play 10 questions. The first was John Mackey, and there will be those out there who would suggest that he's not necessarily a coach because he's only an assistant coach. It's not like we played it with Brian Doby.
Not touching it.
No, you're not touching it. Yeah, and you're smart.
I love John.
We all love John. That's not the point. Time to play 10 questions with a coach. I'm a little bit nervous about this, so let's get started.
It's going to be great. Let's just give her.
Favorite music?
Country.
Really?
I mean, I'm not a big music guy.
Who do you like best?
Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks?
Seen him live twice, not in Winnipeg. Was too young for that. Didn't like country, hadn't grown up enough yet. But flew down with a buddy to Kansas to see him when he did his 10 shows there.
Yeah.
Went down with that same friend for his wedding. Saw him in Vegas. And yeah,
Garth Brooks.
I like my Garth Brooks.
I have no problem with that. Favorite TV show?
Futurama.
It's great.
Which I know, and it's kind of a
great.
childish answer, but.
It's not childish at all. Futurama's great. Favorite entertainer?
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks.
Yep.
Favorite movie of all time?
Ghostbusters.
Original?
Oh.
Good.
No, not the original.
Well,
I'm sorry. Was that
I do like High School Musical too.
You mentioned that.
Yes. Your favorite sport other than football?
Hockey's fun to watch. I love curling. And it's a weird answer.
Is it relaxing
but
to you?
Curling gets me jacked up like football does. For whatever reason, when I'm watching curling...
Now, are you a curler?
No, not at all. I'm going to go to the Rifles alumni fun spiel. That kind of got sent out recently in an email, so I'm going to make sure I spend some time throwing some rocks around there. But for whatever reason, a nice triple takeout, I'm out of my seat, I'm pumped, I'm ready to roll. I like curling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Favorite sports team?
Green Bay Packers.
Favorite athlete?
Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. It hasn't quite happened yet, but he's climbing up the ranks. He's going to take over old number 4 soon enough.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Most influential person in your life?
Now, if we're talking from a personal perspective, talking from anything else, I mean, my parents are obviously going to be right at the top. My wonderful girlfriend's right there as well. She's changed my life immensely. From a football point of view, definitely Mike Watson. He was such a huge inspiration for the things that I do and anything to do with football.
That's a good answer. You
Thank
covered it all. Parents, girlfriend, favorite coach. Covered the whole gambit right there.
Yep.
You teach school. You coach a ton of football. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Reading.
Watch curling.
And that's, actually I don't watch as much as I'd like, but reading is kind of the standard English teacher answer I have to give.
Now, do you read Shakespeare?
Well, not as much anymore since I'm teaching it so much. It kind of gets a little bit
tired,
a little bit tiring. But I've been trying to get through the Times Top 100 novels since 1923. My goal is to finish all 100 by the time I'm 40. I think I've wrapped out 54, 55 of them now, so I'm on pace. But
you need more beach time.
That's where I read. I love reading.
That's the place. And finally, the question.
Okay.
That everybody waits for: Betty or Veronica?
Oh, this is a standard thing.
Standard.
I kind of tune out during 10 questions. Veronica.
Again, Rebecca Horan, our producer, will be very, very happy with
brunettes. Brunettes are the way to go.
Thanks. You're great.
Thank you.
You're going to come back and play a little game with us. You're going to be the first ever to do Take a Knee.
Okay.
Dan Washnook, the head coach of Team Manitoba and the Miles Mac Buckeyes. We'll be back with the segment Take a Knee right after this. This is The Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba, community created on Shaw TV. Welcome back to The Huddle. We are starting a brand new segment this week. It's called Take a Knee. Basically, it's what a coach would say to his team if he had that minute-and-a-half opportunity on television. He's going to get it. Our first coach is the head coach of the under-18 Team Manitoba, Dan Washnook.
Gentlemen, one of the greatest coaches that football has ever known is the Packers' Vince Lombardi. And one of his many quotes was that perfection is unattainable. But sometimes when you chase perfection, you can catch excellence. In everything that you do, you must chase perfection. Every rep you take in the gym, every sprint you put out on that field, every time you do something for you, your life, your family, and all that matters to you, you need to chase perfection. When you step out on that field, every rep you take, chase perfection. Every snap, every down, every hit, every catch, every block, every tackle, you must chase perfection in all that you do. Because when you chase perfection, and the young men around you chase perfection, when everybody works together and together we chase that perfection, we will catch excellence. And that is what we do. Whatever program you're with, in Manitoba, we chase perfection. And when we do that, we catch excellence.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of here.
Oh yeah? Are you exhausted again?
No, I am motivated. Coach Washnook had me motivated.
He had me motivated too. What a great speech. I mean, I kind of wish I was
perfection.
a football player.
I'm out of here. I'm
chasing perfection.
All day, all day. Thanks so much to Coach Washnook for coming in. He was tremendous.
He was.
A great interview, and I love the way he played. He's the only guy who's ever made 10 questions last for 4 minutes.
I was very impressed by that. Usually it's a minute and a half, 2 minutes more or less, but almost 4 minutes. Very impressive.
For a coach.
Good job, Coach.
Thanks so much to Dan Washnook for coming down, and thanks again to the Board of Football Manitoba for having Dan come on the show. Rebecca, thanks. Appreciate it very, very much.
Well, thanks for having me.
Next week, we got lots more. This is The Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba. It's community created on Shaw TV. See you next week.
The opinions expressed on the program you have just watched are not necessarily those of Shaw Cable Systems or of this station. Through our access policy, we provide the opportunity for community groups and individuals to express their points of view.